The headlines scream that Christianity is dying in America. They say the culture has moved on, the pews are empty, and the numbers are tanking. But here is what nobody is talking about. While the media celebrates the decline, something wild is happening in places where faith was supposed to be extinct. We aren't talking about the Bible Belt. We are talking about churches exploding in Sin City, congregations doubling in size in the godless North, and revival breaking out in the secular Northeast. The strongholds of secularism are cracking wide open, and the data tells a story that is going to make a lot of experts very uncomfortable. Here are the 15 cities where God is staging the greatest comeback of the century. Number 15, Wallingford, Connecticut. Connecticut is supposed to be where churches go to die. The Northeast has been hemorrhaging believers for decades. Empty buildings, shrinking congregations. Game over, right? Elevate Life. Church just destroyed that narrative completely. This church grew by 158% according to the Outreach 100 rankings. That's not a typo. In Connecticut, where faith was supposed to be extinct, one congregation nearly tripled in size. They're ranked among the fastest growing churches in the entire nation, and they're doing it in hostile territory. No gimmicks, no watered down theology, just straight biblical teaching in a place where everyone said it was impossible. The secular Northeast just got put on notice. Number 14, Spokane, Washington. The Pacific Northwest is where Christianity supposedly came to die. Seattle made headlines for being the least churched region in America. Portland followed suit, but Spokane didn't get the memo. Valley Real Life Church is ranked number 4 on the Outreach 100 list for fastest growing churches. Number 4, in the entire country. They're pulling this off in Washington state, where church attendance was supposed to be social suicide. The growth rate is staggering. The baptism numbers are even crazier. Valley Real Life has a baptism ratio of 16.7, meaning they're not just attracting visitors, but actually converting people. In the Pacific Northwest, where experts said revival was impossible. Number 13, Las Vegas, Nevada. Sin City just became Revival City, and nobody saw it coming. The Crossing Church is rewriting everything we thought we knew about Vegas. This congregation grew by over 100% and cracked the Outreach 100 rankings while surrounded by casinos and strip clubs. They're baptizing people by the hundreds in a town built on gambling and excess. The growth isn't coming from Bible Belt transplants either. These are locals. People who spent years chasing Vegas dreams before realizing they were empty. The Crossing is proving that even in America's most notorious party town, people are desperate for something real. The data doesn't lie. God is winning in Vegas. Number 12, Portland, Oregon. Portland should be the last place on earth where Christianity thrives. This city is famous for being unchurched, progressive, and openly hostile to traditional faith. Yet Theophilus Church landed on the Outreach 100 list as one of America's fastest growing congregations. They went from a small plant to a movement that's reshaping Portland's spiritual landscape. The growth rate puts most Bible Belt churches to shame. Young families are showing up. Millennials who rejected organized religion are filling seats. Theophilus isn't compromising to get them there either. They're teaching Reformed theology in one of the most secular cities in America, and it's working better than anyone predicted. Portland just proved the experts wrong. Number 11, Surprise, Arizona. Arizona's population boom is creating perfect conditions for church growth, and Radiant Church is capitalizing big time. They hit the Outreach 100 rankings with explosive growth that caught national attention. Surprise is packed with young families fleeing California and other coastal states. Many brought their faith with them, but Radiant isn't just serving transfers. They're reaching the unchurched at rates that make denominational leaders jealous. The baptism numbers prove it. Real conversions, real discipleship, real community transformation. Surprise is becoming a case study in how churches can ride demographic waves without compromising mission. The formula is working, and other cities are watching closely. Number 10, Chattanooga, Tennessee. Chattanooga is what happens when biblical culture becomes the engine room powering everything else. Barna ranks it as one of the top Bible-minded cities in America. Over 52% of the population reads scripture regularly and attends church consistently. This isn't just old-school Bible Belt culture limping along. This is a city where young professionals move specifically because of the faith environment. Churches aren't just growing, they're multiplying. New plants succeed at abnormal rates. Businesses operate on biblical principles. Neighborhoods organize around church communities. Chattanooga is the stable foundation that funds and supports the revival happening in secular strongholds, the engine room that keeps everything running. Number 9, Franklin, Tennessee. Franklin landed on the Outreach 100 map through churches like Grace Chapel, which has become one of the South's fastest growing congregations. The growth metrics are impressive, but Franklin's real story is about cultural saturation. This city just south of Nashville has become a magnet for Christian families, artists, and entrepreneurs. Churches are packed. Bible studies meet in coffee shops. Faith isn't hidden, it's celebrated. Franklin proves that when believers concentrate in one place, the entire culture shifts. The city is exporting church planters and missionaries across America. It's not just growing, it's becoming a training ground for the next generation of Christian leaders. Number 8, Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. The Research Triangle shouldn't be a faith hotspot. Universities, tech companies, educated professionals who supposedly abandoned religion. Yet, Summit Church exploded onto the Outreach 100 rankings as one of America's megachurch success stories. They're not just growing through transfers. The baptism-to-attendance ratio proves they're reaching the unchurched. Young professionals and grad students are converting at rates that demolish the narrative about educated people leaving faith. Summit is teaching verse-by-verse exposition in a city full of PhD, and it's working. Raleigh-Durham is proving that intellect and faith aren't enemies. When the gospel is taught clearly, even the academics show up. Number 7, San Jose, California. Silicon Valley was supposed to be where technology replaced God. Software engineers trading cathedrals for coding boot camps. Yet Venture Christian Church cracked the Outreach 100 list as one of Northern California's fastest-growing congregations. They're pulling in tech workers, startup founders, and young professionals who supposedly left faith behind. The growth rate is wild for such a secular region. Venture isn't dumbing down theology to attract the valley either. They're teaching deep biblical content, and the engineers are responding. San Jose is proving that even in the heart of tech innovation, people still hunger for transcendent truth. The data shows God is advancing in hostile territory. Number 6, Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. DFW is the engine room of American evangelicalism. Multiple churches in this metro area hit the Outreach 100 rankings simultaneously. Gateway, Watermark, Prestonwood, these aren't just big buildings. They're discipleship factories that shape North Texas culture. But the real story is cultural saturation. DFW has over 4,000 churches serving a metro area where biblical values still influence business, education, and politics. This is the stable foundation that funds mission work across America. When churches in Vegas or Portland need resources, DFW supplies them. The metro area proves that cultural dominance creates sustainable impact. It's the supply line keeping the entire movement alive. Number 5, Colorado Springs, Colorado. The Springs isn't just growing, it's become America's Christian capital. Over 100 ministries and organizations call this city home. Focus on the family. Navigators, Compassion International. But beyond the big names, local churches are crushing it. New Life Church and others consistently rank among the nation's fastest-growing congregations. The city attracts believers from across America who want to live where faith isn't just tolerated but celebrated. Church plants succeed at abnormal rates. Youth ministries overflow. The concentration of Christian influence is unmatched anywhere else. Colorado Springs is what happens when believers stop retreating and start building. The model is working. Number 4, Knoxville, Tennessee. Knoxville combines university energy with Bible Belt stability. Churches here are hitting the Outreach 100 rankings while also maintaining high Barna scores for biblical literacy. Cedar Springs Church and others are growing explosively among college students and young professionals. The University of Tennessee provides constant renewal, but the local church culture provides depth. Students arrive skeptical and encounter robust Christian communities that challenge secular assumptions. Many convert or recommit to abandoned faith. The baptism numbers prove its real transformation, not just attendance bumps. Knoxville is becoming the laboratory for how faith thrives in college towns when Christians actually engage instead of hide. Number 3, Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham represents the engine room at its finest. Barna consistently ranks this metro among the most Bible-minded in America. Over 50% of residents read scripture regularly. Church attendance remains exceptionally high across all demographics. This is cultural Christianity, transformed into genuine discipleship. Multiple Birmingham churches hit the Outreach 100 rankings, proving the city isn't just maintaining but expanding. The faith culture is multi-generational. Young people stay committed instead of fleeing to secular cities. Birmingham is the stable foundation that supports explosive growth elsewhere. When Portland or Vegas need church planters, Birmingham supplies them. The engine room keeps running. Number 2, Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix is where momentum meets numbers. Christ Church of the Valley consistently ranks in the Outreach 100 top 10. They're pulling over 40,000 people weekly across multiple campuses. But CCV isn't alone. The entire Phoenix Metro is experiencing church growth that defies national trends. New plants are succeeding at wild rates. Existing congregations are bursting. The city attracts transplants from across America, and many bring strong faith commitments. Phoenix has become a case study in how demographic growth and spiritual hunger create perfect conditions for revival. The trajectory suggests Phoenix could become America's next major faith hub. The data backs it up. Number 1. Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson shouldn't be number 1 by secular standards. The city faces economic challenges and population decline, yet Barna ranks it as the most Bible-minded metro in America. In Barna's 2023 national study, Jackson, Mississippi, ranked number 1 for combined scripture engagement and church involvement. Over 60% of residents read scripture regularly and attend church consistently. Faith isn't private, it's public identity. Churches maintain influence over education, business, and politics. Ministers still command respect. Biblical values shape public discourse. Jackson is the ultimate engine room, the stable foundation that proves cultural dominance creates lasting impact. While coastal cities celebrate empty pews, Jackson keeps the faith burning. The city represents everything secular culture wants to eliminate, which makes it the most important battleground in America. God is advancing in Vegas, Portland, and Spokane, where secular culture declared Christianity finished. Meanwhile, Jackson, Birmingham, and Dallas provide the stable foundation funding the entire movement. Revival is breaking out in hostile strongholds where faith was declared dead. The real question is whether this is the opening act of something bigger or the final stand before the lights go out. What happens in the next 5 years will determine if this becomes full-scale awakening or just a temporary spike. The battle lines are drawn, and these cities are where the outcome will be decided.